Gonna be the toughest fight of his career.
Shut up, relax.
The most embarrassing fight of his career.
Chair across your face.
Yeah, I think he's about to cry.
The boxing world is on fire right now, completely shaken to its core. And standing right in the middle of this chaos is Anthony Joshua. Legends, analysts, and former champions are coming after him, questioning his decision to take what many believe is the easiest and most pointless fight of his entire career. The second the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight became official, everything exploded. Fans and experts instantly divided into two sides. One group calling Joshua an embarrassment to boxing, while the other is defending him with every bit of passion they have.
His 11th fight. I don't know. Who did Arthur Beterbiev fight? Jake Paul has found a way to make himself the cash cow early in his career to where we shouldn't care.
Jake Paul has become the fighter right now that everybody wants to fight because right now he is the cash cow. He made $40 million just off of Netflix.
He has found a way to do something with his following, get under people's skin to make people care about these fights.
What advice would you give to somebody like AJ?
That he has a lot of talent and not to get discouraged. He only loses when he quits. When you quit, all the doors of opportunities close. You know what I mean? You have to be game. And then don't get discouraged if you lose. Listen, you just lost. You may have got $30 million. You should give Usyk a kiss and say, can we do this again? Don't let this internalize you. Oh, I can't fight now. This white boy kicked my ass. People are laughing at me. No, he kicked my ass for $50 million or $30 million. I hope he kicks my ass again. But this time it might not work out that way. I'm gonna kick his ass. I just think the more time you lay off, the worse you get. You have to fight to be the best. You have to do it more and more.
Say to those critics claiming Anthony is destroying his legacy just by stepping into this fight. They act like they've forgotten everything he has already achieved. This is an Olympic gold medalist we're talking about, a two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. I genuinely feel for him, because if he doesn't finish this faster than he finished Francis, people will still find a way to dismiss it. So let me ask you straight up, has there been any kind of discussion behind the scenes? Any secret agreement? Any hidden contract connected to this fight? This is an 8-round professional bout. AJ would never accept anything less. If it were an exhibition, if it required him to carry Jake for the full 8 rounds, that would never work for Anthony Joshua. He's stepping into that ring with one mission, to knock Jake Paul out. No holding back. No pretending. Just pure destruction.
Jake Paul. Excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden, he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. You can't beat me. And I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous.
Loudest voices right now are coming from the boxing purists, the harsh critics, and even icons like Floyd Mayweather, all insisting that Joshua never should have agreed to a fight like this. They argue a 2-time heavyweight world champion has no business stepping into the ring with a YouTuber who hasn't earned the resume, the legacy, or the pedigree required for a stage of this size. They say Joshua should be focused on Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, or even Joe Joyce. Fighters who are real threats. Fighters who deserve to be in this conversation. Fighters who have spent their entire lives preparing for moments at this level. SO for many. The idea that Joshua is fighting Jake Paul isn't just questionable. It's embarrassing. It's damaging to his legacy. It's humiliating for the heavyweight division. But then there's the other side of the debate, and that side is far more complicated than people want to acknowledge. The reality is, Anthony Joshua is at a stage in his career where business matters just as much as legacy. Boxing is ruthless, and careers don't last long. AJ has already faced some of the biggest heavyweight names of this era. People forget he fought Andy Ruiz twice.
Question, and you know, that seems like a very friendly question to Jake, but you know what? It's a fair question. I'm not mad at the guy for phrasing his question that way. And again, yes, that's because Jake has a massive name and a massive spotlight. Without that, Jake is not fighting Anthony Joshua in his 14th fight. But on the other side of that, the risk involved with fighting Anthony Joshua here and some of the fights that Jake had in his first 10 or 11 fights, most pros were either having or having worse opponents for. So when people discredit Jake's career by being like, he didn't fight this guy, he didn't fight that guy, he didn't fight a number of this contender, number that, look at your favorite fighter in their first 14 fights and you pick out the opponents that they had and the level of them. Sure, you'll have your outliers, your Vasily Lomachenkos and other guys that fought tough competition right away, but most, and I mean most meaning 95% of the sport of boxing, had tomato cans until he had 15 to 20 wins. Give Jake his credit. He's fought guys that even were better on his resume than some of your favorite fighters, and now he's fighting Joshua this early. That deserves the credit that I know and the acknowledgement that I know Jake is looking.
And it's a lose-lose for Anthony Joshua. However, given all of that, both men are going to make $92 million each. So forget my opinion. Who gives a damn when you can bank $92 million for having a little move around in a boxing ring? Fair play. You can't on that. However, let's talk about it. The reason I say that it's a lose-lose we'll start with Jake Paul first. The reason I say it's a win-win for Jake Paul is because, listen, if he wins, then he's beating a former heavyweight boxing world champion, certainly one of the best heavyweights of his generation, and of course, a man that is way bigger than Jake Paul. Of course, it's a win. And if he loses, it's still a win for Jake Paul because he had the balls. He was man enough. He was willing to test himself. He would prove everyone wrong, all his critics, like me. By the way, I'm not like out there on an island by myself. Everyone.
Fought Alexander Usyk twice. He went to war with Vladimir Klitschko when Klitschko was still a real danger. He has pushed his body through battles that would have ended half the division's careers, and so when a once-in-a-generation payday shows up, when a crossover mega fight is placed right in front of him, when Netflix steps in and wants to turn a boxing match into the biggest global spectacle since Mayweather versus McGregor, how can anyone honestly blame Anthony Joshua for signing on the dotted line? And Joshua's supporters aren't staying silent. They're clapping back hard, pointing out that the same people calling this embarrassing would accept that exact deal in a heartbeat if they were offered that kind of money.
Convincingly, yes. And that's all he can do. And I think that he should take the praise from that and build from it. But he shouldn't want the criticism to stop because I think it fuels him.
I'm one with you. And I said that to Joshua in one of the interviews that I'd done with him. I said to him, listen, I knew he was very angry with TalkSport and the criticism he was getting from TalkSport, etc. And I had that conversation with him and said, listen, Josh, you should be feeding off that. That's what good fighters do. You feed off that. Go and prove them wrong. That's where your fuel should be coming from. And I think to a certain extent, he's sort of done that. I said, look, if people are talking about you, it's a good thing because that means that, you're doing something right.
He wasn't ready for Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua was a different thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just, he's got more one-shot knockout
it was
power.
Bad game
he took it
plan
more
as well,
seriously,
though.
too.
I know he likes the switching. But again, this is where the boxing is. If you don't have that kind of intellect in the boxing, that footwork and foot positioning is put your foot on one side, you're going to get killed. You put your foot on the other side, you're safe. You can kind of manage the power and see the punches coming. But he kept switching stances by just leaving himself in just the wrong positions.
Yeah, he wasn't ready.
Wasn't
for a guy like Joshua.
Wasn't ready. There was a lot of hype off the Fury fight.
Also, Joshua got to watch him box in the Fury fight, see some patterns. Fury, I think, probably took him lightly.
Yes, I think so.
He's one of the greatest of all time. This guy's never had a boxing match. At the beginning of the fight, he's like, time to go to school.
Say AJ has earned the right to make his own decisions. He's earned the right to secure his family's future forever. And anyone who disagrees is either jealous or completely out of touch with reality. They remind everyone that this fight will draw more attention to boxing than any heavyweight clash this entire year. And if Joshua delivers exactly what the world expects, he'll lead with the biggest payday of his career. And a knockout that echoes across the globe, at this point. The conversation isn't just about boxing skills anymore. It's about pride, legacy, money, respect, and survival. It's about whether Anthony Joshua is avoiding the hardest challenges or simply making the smartest move for his future. It's about whether Jake Paul is completely delusional, incredibly strategic, or maybe both. And it's about whether this fight is a circus act or the new blueprint of modern combat sports. But one thing is clear. The boxing world is completely divided on this. Some legends are furious at Joshua, calling the decision shameful and unnecessary. Others insist he's a genius businessman who understands today's game better than anyone else. And with December locked in and both fighters training harder than ever, the noise surrounding this matchup is only growing louder.